Question 3. Here is a 5-sided spinner. The table shows the probabilities that the spinner will land on 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Okay, so probability that's going to land on a 1 is 0.15, land on a 2 is 0.2, land on a 3 is 0.1, land on a 4 is 0.25, and land on a 5 is 0.3. Pete spins the spinner once. Part A says work out the probability that the spinner will land on a number greater than 2. Okay, so a number greater than 2 means 3 or 4 or 5. Okay, so to work out that probability that it will land on a number greater than 2, we're going to have to add up these probabilities. So 0.1 add 0.25 add 0.3 is 0.65. Okay, and that's the final answer. Now, part A is worth 2 marks. Let's have a quick look at how you get those marks. So the first one is a method mark from adding up the probability of 3, 4 and 5, which I've done here. That's worth 1 mark. And the second mark is for 0.65 as the answer. Now you could have also added up the probability of 1 and 2, so that would have been 0.35, but you have to take that away from 1. Okay, as if you found the probability of 1, 2, 3 or 4 or 5, that would add up to 1. Okay, and that's it. So, Eleanor is going to spin the spinner 200 times. Part B says work out an estimate for the number of times the spinner will land on 5. Well, let's have a look at what the probability is for 5 first of all. It is 0.1 or 0.30, okay? So, if we're going to spin it 200 times and the probability was 0.5, which is half, you would expect it to for 5 to come out 100 times, half the time, okay? It's no different here, so 200, and I've got to find 0.3 of 200, so a little bit less than a third. Okay, so 200 times 0.3 will give me 0.3 of 200, okay? So, what will that give me on the calculator? 200 times 0.3, bang on 60 times, okay? So we would expect it to come out a little less than a third of the time. In this case, it's 60, okay? So it's 200 times 0.3. Now, part B is also worth 2 marks. Let's have a little look at the mark scheme to see where you get those marks. So the first one is a method mark for doing 200 times 0.3, and the second one is for the final answer of 60. Okay, so that's the second mark there, and that's it.